Do you ever just lie awake in bed and think about death?
Oh, every night.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you do to get rid of the scaries?
You dare it to come get you.
Scaries. That's kind of like a deeper sleep.
Yeah.
Have you ever been, okay, so hear me out. Have you ever had like sleep paralysis?
Yes.
Okay. Have you not?
No.
Okay. You might be lucky or unlucky based on what I'm about to say next.
Okay, I'm ready for this.
Have you ever wanted to fuck your sleep paralysis demon?
No, that's not really come across my mind.
That's not a real thing.
I really should have expected this to be. where
You've
this is
never
going.
been
I was,
like,
I was able to relate to one of our openers for one time.
For just a second.
For I had just this short, fleeting flick of brilliance.
For a moment.
there's just something about like this dark, shadowy figure that like is there but isn't really there, that you can't really get a distinguished face out of, where you're just like,
Do you want to
Yeah.
fuck Slender Man?
yes.
What?
Wait, no. This is just where you're objectively wrong and or out of the loop. You don't remember like the hordes of teenage girls in like, what was it, 2012 or something like that wanted to fuck Slenderman, and they killed other little girls to sacrifice them to Slenderman?
Never
this is a
heard
true
of
story.
This can't be true.
So there were these two girls. I'm just going to like go from memory. I want to say
Okay.
they were like 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah.
They took another little girl, same age-ish, into the woods, stabbed her dozens of times, left her body there, and said it was for Slenderman when they got caught.
Graphic content warning. Do not watch this if you are like disturbed by graphic content. Warning.
Or 12.
Victor Wembanyama, run! Run! Taco Fall, run!
Who are you yelling to run?
These are tall, skinny black men who kind of look like Slender Man.
Who are basketball players.
Taco Falls is what, 7'5"? Something like that?
Yeah, he's playing in China right now.
Holy shit. That was the only opener that I could think of.
Well, we definitely opened the show.
Intrusive thoughts of death.
Intrusive thoughts, the intrusive thoughts of death into fucking Slenderman. Would you, you've never had like a mythical creature that you wanted to just...
I just want to let you know that she was just recently playing Baldur's Gate, just like an hour ago.
I was just recently playing Baldur's Gate. But still, the question remains the same. You've never had a mythical creature that you just wanted to...
Those aren't people.
Doesn't matter. Medusa, technically not a person.
There's nothing even
Mythical
there. The
creature.
bottom half is a snake.
Is that for Medusa, or is that just Cassiopeia?
Pretty sure Medusa's the same, bro. The bottom half is just a snake.
Producer Ian,
Medusa has
she's a
legs.
Gorgon. She's
No.
a Gorgon.
No, she don't.
she's a Gorgon. Producer Ian, what is the Gorgon? Do they have humanoid bodies?
I'm
They have a
pretty
human
sure
top half.
They don't have legs.
It's a human top half and a snake bottom, starting at like their waist.
Would you fuck a centaur?
Oh,
No,
you're right.
That's a
You're right.
horse bottom.
Would you
I don't
get-
want the hussy.
You don't want to be a horse bottom?
Look at this. It's Medusa,
Yeah,
which is just
that's I
Cassiopeia.
know. There's nothing
Okay.
in there.
So, but she
can't
has a
fuck that.
cloaca.
A what?
A cloaca?
What is that?
I know this because I have a Twitch viewer
this
named
is gonna be
Cloaca
so
Queen.
cursed. This-
A cloaca is something that is both your poo-poo hole and your pee-pee hole.
Oh, 2 for 1.
Exactly.
Don't want that.
I'm liking this
gets it.
already.
I don't want
I'm
that.
liking
Raz
this
gets
already.
it. So anyways, we all just got back from Newark, New Jersey,
New
where we
Jersey.
had our first solo Casters Couch live event. Shout out to everyone who watched it, came in person, or watched it on the stream. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I know that I was living in kind of the crazy and running back and forth, so I didn't get to say hi to as many people as I would have liked to. But how'd you guys like the event?
No, it was a ton of fun. Everybody there seemed to be having a good time. I met a couple of different fans that gave me like little keychains. One of them was custom made. It said Captain Flowers Bronze Stream with a little Skarner on it and everything. So lots of people were super excited to be there. I was honestly like, don't get me wrong, I'm happy doing this show with you guys every week, but I expected there to be like 6 people in the audience.
I was about to say the same thing.
Honestly, same.
And we had like a room full of 100 people. It was super cool.
Where did they all come from? I was like, surely we're gonna have an empty room.
Yeah.
So I was really nervous about that too, not just as Caster's Couch, but also as the producer for the event.
Right.
Because it was shout out to MasterCard, presented by MasterCard.
Thanks, MasterCard.
But I was like, oh my gosh, if no one shows up to this event that was a sponsored event that we paid money on, like I'm fired. I'm just gone. That's it. Thresh doesn't get his organic dog food anymore, and we have to sell this couch that you two were sitting on. And so when we ended up getting like 150 RSVPs on the website, and then we ended up checking the numbers, and we had 132 people come to the event
Nice.
that weekend.
That's sick.
So it was super awesome. Sounded like everyone had the fun time.
Yeah.
That's 22 times as many as I thought.
There it is.
I was guessing 6.
Open bar is OP.
Let's go.
That's 130.
The open bar was awesome.
That is also
By the
a
way,
good one.
the captain got the most cheers from the audience.
Of
And
course.
you asked who ordered what.
Unfortunately.
The captain got the most cheers, but I think the virgin got the most laughs or pity sighs.
I would agree with that. Yeah. People loved it.
Yeah, it seemed
The idea of it.
the idea of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of those drinks were actually really good. Shout out to James, our bartender, and Lance at Brick Iron Studios. But it was really fun. It made me kind of reminiscent of the early League of Legends and LCS days, where there were more kind of like fanfare before parties, after parties surrounding big League of Legends events. Because it's always nice to like get to catch up with people before all of the crazy happens.
Yeah.
Because you two were on the broadcast the entire day. I was doing a co-stream for the entire day. So you don't really get a lot of time to actually talk to people.
Yeah.
So having that event was kind of nice. Where should we do the next Caster's Couch event? Should we do it at a finals again, or should we just go somewhere? Should we just go somewhere and do it, Raz?
We should just go somewhere and do it.
Where?
Let's see. We went to New Jersey, so they
Amsterdam.
There you go.
I don't think we have fans in Amsterdam. Comment below if you are a fan and in Amsterdam.
True. I like that idea. I was just saying there's nowhere you can go but up because we just came out of New Jersey.
Dude, so tell me about your experience in New Jersey, because I was with the influencers in a rich part of New York, Soho, New York.
Yeah.
So all I saw were like LA people, but richer. So what were you doing in New York?
We could say it, right? I think we could say it.
Say whatever you want, man.
Oh,
This
you're
is-
putting
this
it
is a
on me?
What? What are you
I
saying?
didn't do nothing the whole week.
yeah.
All I got to do was sit in my hotel room and wait for the clock to be late enough to go to bed, because I couldn't talk at all because I had to save my voice
Yeah.
for the goddamn games.
Yeah.
I just sat there and waited. That's why I was able to resonate with Ovilee's thing at the start. I'm like, please, just something. Come and knock me out so I can get to tomorrow. I am done with today already. Why must I endure the rest of this time?
Only people walking in that door are sleep demons that you apparently don't want to fuck.
No.
Okay, just checking, just making sure.
All right, no, we are not horny for the demons. Okay, so what did you
You're the
do?
weird one.
Okay.
You're free to talk about whatever, man.
So I got out of the sling because the idea was I wanted to test to see if I can be on broadcast without the sling. Thankfully, I could.
Oh, the
but-
arm sling.
Yeah, the arm sling.
Yeah.
What other sling would there be?
I thought you said the slang.
The slang.
It's a New Jersey
Slang.
thing. You wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Walking with my slang hanging
The
out.
slang.
But yeah, so I was just basically I didn't want to do too much, which in a similar position with Flowers. I knew there was an after party. I didn't go to the after party because I knew a drunk Raz or drunk someone else is not going to make the situation any better.
True.
Mostly just kind of was like, all right, I'm gonna see if I can hang out with friends if possible. First things first, our hotel. That shit was right next to the fucking airport, man. Let me tell you. Like when I flew over, I didn't have much time to pack, and I didn't want to pack too much because I was like, I'm only packing one bag. I'm only going to be able to carry one bag. I'm only going to pack one bag.
Same. I brought a backpack and that's it.
There it is. I had like a small backpack, but then I had like a luggage that I was like,
Okay, so
this
you had the
is my right.
backpack plus the
Carry-on.
one-item carry-on combo. Okay.
Kind of. So, I didn't pack strategically like toothbrush and all that stuff because I'm just gonna get it when I'm there.
Okay.
Problem is the 7-Eleven, even though it's like 10 minutes away, there's no sidewalk. There's a lot of highway because it's next to the airport, and it was just a lot of hell.
Are you doing the hobo hike, just walking
Yes.
down the highway?
I am. And let me tell you, if I'm going to die in New Jersey, walking to 7-Eleven That is a way to die. I was like,
hiking down the highway.
life is a highway.
I want to ride it till I get hit.
But man, was that 7-Eleven a fucking booming paradise. I've never seen a bigger 7-Eleven in my life. They know where their business is, and that's right next to the airport.
I mean, that's the smartest place to put one because people going to 7-Eleven are usually just looking for like a quick, shitty version of whatever they actually want.
Yes.
Whether it's food or like a grocery replacement, hand sanitizer instead of
Yep.
actual cleaning supplies, maybe just a Slurpee.
Yep.
All of these desperate wanderers have to go through the same metal portal to hell that is the airport.
They do.
So if you're a guy planning where to put your 7-Eleven, you put it right by the motherfucking airport.
You know what? Sometimes I get a little self-conscious with myself and I wonder if I'm truly an adult and responsible for myself and my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear the way that you two live and I suddenly feel so much better about myself.
What's wrong about waiting?
How the fuck do you not pack a toothbrush?
What am I supposed to do? Literally, I have one arm. I'm not going to be packing that much shit.
So instead of putting a toothbrush in a Ziploc bag that weighs, I don't know, maybe like the weight of this notebook,
Yeah.
you're going to say, nah, I'm just going to go on a trek to 7-Eleven to purchase one myself.
Let's start listening. If you want a toothbrush, then you better get toothpaste. And if you want toothpaste, at least in my experience, you might want to get like mouthwash, and you might want to get like there's a razor, like just in general, a lot of things that are just shit that I need to get done. It's like if I'm gonna buy one, I'm gonna buy them all.
You should have been responsible. You see, I brought a toothbrush, but I thought I packed my toothpaste and I didn't. So instead, I just brushed my teeth with hand soap.
No shot. Is that true?
Yeah.
No fucking
What are
way.
you talking about?
It's antibacterial.
I had to make do with what was there. Yeah, it kills germs. Plaque is germs.
Hand soap?
Yeah, man, like the bar in the hotel room.
Yes.
You rub it on your hand, and then like you wash your hands.
Yeah.
And then you rub extra soap on your hand, and then you scrub the toothpaste in this toothbrush on the soap, and then you just
We need a
Brush your
dentist
teeth.
right
Hey,
now
hey, Flowers.
to know if that works.
Hey, Flowers, when was the last time you saw a dentist?
like 10 years ago.
The most fucked up thing about this.
His teeth is white too.
The most fucked up thing
That's
about
just
this.
God is not fucking around. Like that's crazy to me.
You know how they say 9 out of 10 dentists agree? That 1 out of 10 is just like hand soap.
It's just like you're on the road, bro.
Yes.
Soap.
Hand soap, go for it, buddy. Like
Look, it's safe because when you say a bad word when you're a little kid, your mom like makes you like wash your mouth out with soap.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
so,
true.
So I know it's not going to poison me, and I'm like, well, if it's good enough for hands, it's good enough for teeth. So
a compelling point,
no,
a
no, no, no.
compelling
So
case. He's
that's-
starting to convince me here.
That is absolutely fucked and foul because here's the thing.
the old F and F.
I finally met your parents this weekend
True.
at LCS Finals, and they are
really
both
wholesome.
two lovely, wholesome, and fantastic people.
They're great.
They would not raise you to put fucking hand soap on a toothbrush.
I taught myself this one. Your parents. There's nature versus nurture. Some stuff you learn through nurturing. Some stuff's just in your nature,
That's true.
and this one's from my nature.
It's just the nature of the beast.
Oof.
He's the beast.
My I'm pretty sure my dog has better dental hygiene than you at this point. I think my dog has been to the dentist more than you have in the past 10 years.
Oh yeah,
I'm-
dogs need it.
I'm springtime fresh.
There, it is. Exactly. LCS fresh.
That's what it means.
That's exactly what it means.
Yeah. Even when you don't have the necessary materials that you need, you're still keeping yourself fresh.
you
We're
go.
on the theme.
I got
Nobody
one
can
of
say
those.
Captain Flowers isn't true to the fucking theme.
There it
Jesus
is.
Christ. Let's
I
talk
got
about
one
your
of those.
parents for a second, though, because this was the sweetest thing ever, and you were totally surprised by it.
Yeah, did not know.
I've got the full story. So your mom messaged me because,
Okay.
you know, I'm the favorite child of the Rains family. Therefore, I get texted the most. Your mom messaged me, I want to say on maybe like Wednesday or Thursday. And she
Okay.
texted me, she's like, hey, I saw on the Caster's Couch website that all the tickets are sold out. Me and Clayton's dad were thinking about driving to come see the show and also LCS. Are there going to be any more tickets? And I was like, oh my fucking God. I'm going to meet Mama and Papa Rains. So I told them, I was like, no, I got you tickets for both things. Come out. They did a 9-hour drive
Yeah.
and they wanted to come out and surprise you. Your mom was like, don't tell Clayton. Please don't tell Clayton. We want this to be a surprise. I'm like, I got you. My lips are sealed.
Yeah.
So we got all the way to the point where you two came into Caster's Couch. You were mingling with all the people. You were standing over by the photo wall as we're taking pictures with guests. I get pulled to the side and I look in the corner and I see your mom and your dad going, hi, kind of hiding behind a door because you're standing right next to me and they don't want you to see them.
Right. Yeah. You got to keep the surprise a surprise.
Mhm. Going, hi. So I push you in front of the photo wall. I'm like, oh, go take a picture with the fan. Oh, go over here. Go over there. I run over to them and I'm like, give me 2 seconds and we'll figure out a way to surprise them. And so I take flowers and I think Raz off to the side as well.
Yeah.
Take them over to the photo wall. And I go like, oh, let's do a silly picture in front of the FlyQuest Summer Splash presented by MasterCard photo booth sign. We get over. I say, Flowers, come here. Let's take a picture. I'm going to cover your eyes. And on 3, we're going to open them and say cheese. We go 1, 2, 3, open the eyes. You smile for the picture. And you don't realize your parents are standing next to you in the photo.
That's
Right,
fucking
because
funny.
the screen is really small. I have shitty eyesight from partying hard for so long, and I'm squatted down. I'm not Eastern European. I can't do a balanced squat. All of my attention was focused on not falling over, looking like a jackass. So I noticed that there's 2 extra people. I'm like, okay, it's probably FlyQuest people or something, or MasterCard, like, sponsor, like, guests or managers or whatever. Okay, yeah, haha. That's why my smile and it looks just like goofy as fuck. But then I looked up for a second. I was like, wait, that doesn't look like MasterCard. And then I looked up and I noticed it was my parents. I was like, oh, what the hell? That's so cool. Like the additional behind the scenes information about this is back in 2017 when I first joined LCS, I told my parents that later on that year, hey, I won't be able to make it home at all this year. I'm really busy with esports stuff. And then I flew home for Christmas and surprised them both anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I surprised them with that 6 years ago. And so now they did the same thing all the way down the line with this. And yeah, they showed up. They both texted me at the like Monday morning after everything was all said and done. The weekend was wrapped up. They said they both had a ton of fun. They were happy to meet everybody. They got to meet like Azael and Rafa, Raz and you obviously because all you guys were here, and they said they had a lot of fun. They liked meeting everybody. I know you hooked them up with like seats in the VIP section.
Shout out to the Riot Influencer Program and Chrissy specifically for hooking up Mama and Papa Flowers because I was going to touch on that.
Chrissy's a queen.
They were so cute the entire time in the little VIP section because the one thing that your mom told me, she's like, oh, can you help us purchase tickets? I don't know where the casters usually sit and I
Yeah.
want to sit right there. So I'm like, don't worry, I got you. Because I treated them basically how I would want anyone to treat like my family members, right?
Yeah.
Like if my grandparents came to a show, I want them to be taken care of. Not
Well,
to
they
have
are
to
your
walk
family
up and
members.
down. They are my family
Yeah.
members. They're basically my parents.
Exactly. You're
They're
the
my
favorite
parents.
child.
And so we brought them up to like the little VIP suite area where it's like all the streamers and stuff.
Yeah.
And they had this one little overlook. I have a picture that I'll show you later. And it's like the overlook. They're sitting right here. And then like 2 rows down, it's you.
Yeah, they
So
were right above me.
Right above you, looking down, watching you the entire time.
Yeah, they had a blast. They even sent me messages during it. They were like, the VIP section is awesome. The view is really good. It's so fun to watch you from up here. They even talked about how good the catering food was in the VIP section. They're like, this is better than anything you can get in Ohio.
God.
So they were... They were having a really good time. They seemed to be really happy with getting to see it. And then my dad was even like, man, this is about the bloodiest League of Legends I've ever seen any of the NA teams play. This is pretty fun.
Nice.
Because he's watched the league for a long time, and he's always hated when we've had like the TSMs or the liquids that want to do nothing and scale for 45 minutes, like running the league. Because he's like, oh, it's just fucking boring to watch.
Yeah.
So when they just started scrapping and beating the piss out of each other every game, he was loving it.
It was funny as hell. I really enjoyed it. I think having NRG go as far as they did and like make both of the series that they were part of just like chaotic. Thank God, because when I went out to watch like DSG versus just like the amateur teams play,
NACL
the
stuff,
NACL
right?
finals, it gets pretty boring because when the team is playing properly, you're like, oh Jesus, this is basically watching baseball. So it just really depends on the game that you're watching, how entertaining it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
And your parents were amazing. Like it's nice to be able to put names to faces because I just always. You know, in your mind, you try and create a caricature of like what you're being told about.
Yeah.
I did not expect your dad being as like tall as he is.
You expected him to like be like 5 feet tall or what?
I don't know anymore. Like I have no idea. Sometimes your mind can go a little fucking crazy.
Did you just expect my dad to be like Tyler 1, but with a cowboy hat or some shit?
Maybe. Honestly,
You look exactly like your dad.
I was going to say you 30 or 50 more years. Like
Yeah.
you're
You
getting
look
there.
exactly like your dad.
Our high school pictures are actually like nearly identical because we also both had like hair down to our shoulders in high school.
When did your dad go bald or shaved head?
So he always had hair like a lot like mine up until he got to his like early 30s, kind of around where I am now actually.
Is that why you're wearing a hat?
No, it's actually
still
because it's
got
so
it.
long it
He's
looks like a
doing
mess.
well. He's doing well.
So I always put the hat on when my hair's too long to make it look decent.
Yeah.
But no, he got to the point where it was starting to like not come in as thick. And he was like, okay, it's going to start doing that. I'm going to start slowly not having as much hair. And so he was just always like, I don't want to fuck with this. And so he just started shaving it.
Your dad did the right thing.
Yes.
My dad needed to learn. My dad, he does the whole horseshoe hair thing. He's holding on to dear life. Because you look at his like 70s pictures, he has the luscious afro.
Oh, yeah?
Like he looked like he was the star member of Soul Train. Like he looked like he was the guy going, Soul Train! But like he started losing his hair. And probably because he was wearing hats, that my dad would always tell me, Brento, don't wear hats. and also, like, he just would hold on to dear life. And I'm going to go back soon. Pretty sure you're still holding on to dear life. Me, I'm going bald. The moment I start seeing...
Just shave that shit?
Absolutely.
Exactly. It's not existing anymore.
Yeah, just let it go.
That's gonna be my play too.
Yeah.
I'm not going for the slow, like I don't want the helicopter landing pad on the top or
Yeah.
going with the
friar
horseshoe angle around. Yeah, we're not going with the friar look. I would much rather just shave it. But yeah, so sometime I think around like early to mid 30s when he did that.
Damn. I would do wigs.
Wigs.
I would do wigs. I would have a wall of wigs where I'd be like, boom, purple hair today, red hair today, short hair today, bayonetta hair today.
Okay.
I go hard.
Question for Raz and Ian, because I've heard about this, but I don't know if it's
Yes.
just some like shit that I heard that like people.
I like-
racist or if it's
Why are
true.
you asking just Raz and Ian?
I think you'll get there.
Okay.
I
It's a
think we
black
know.
people thing. Do black women have like 10 different wigs and they pick one and like use that one?
What
Is
about
that like
you,
a real
Ian?
thing?
Okay, so
Wait. Is Raz asking Ian because Raz doesn't know?
no. There isn't a consensus.
There isn't
Okay.
consensus.
Okay.
There is not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, wigs are much more prevalent, but there's a variety of sew-ins. There's lace fronts. There's wigs. There's partials.
All sorts of stuff.
So yeah.
I only know of extensions.
Okay.
My sister has like extensions, and do you rent extensions or something like that?
Most people buy the hair.
Okay,
So there's artificial hair, and then
Yeah.
there's human hair that can be sewn into your head.
Oh, there we go.
Huh.
So yes, extensions for sure. I know them. The weaves. God, my favorite piece of content will always be there's like a podcast where.
Where her wig falls off.
Yes!
And she's just like, oh my God.
Oh my God! Please. Oh my God.
China is getting really big with those too, and Korea.
With
Oh,
the
yeah?
weaves?
Not with weaves specifically, but they sell like baseball caps. So like your baseball, let me see. So they sell caps like this.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's a normal cap, and then on the back, it's just hair.
Oh,
behind
so
it.
you put
Yeah.
the hair on with the hat.
So yeah, it's connected to the hat. So you just put on the hat, and it basically comes out with like hair like
So
mine.
now I've
super,
got
super
long hair in the back when I
Yeah.
wear my hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. They also have bits where it's like if you part your hair a lot, I have it like a little bit where it's like your hair will be a little bit like thinner depending on where you part it every single day. They also have bits where you could just put it on top and it goes like on top of your entire head where it looks like a scalp.
What if you
Crazy
What if you have to
shit.
do like a Pokemon battle or an arm wrestling tournament where you turn your hat around?
Oh,
Then you
no.
just like
You blinded
You're just
yourself.
cussing it going on.
you're just the chick from the ring.
Yeah.
Ready to crawl out of the
Fucking style points.
I was watching Love Island, and there's this character. She has a wig on because I think she's just bald, right?
Yeah.
Personally, like a personal choice or something, I'm sure. And problem is, it's in South Africa. They're not supposed to be inside. They're encouraged to be outdoors. So let's just say the entire season, and I went through Twitter because I watched it like basically retroactively when it wasn't live.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, everybody's pointing out that the glue is melting on her head because
dude.
it's so clear, right? And you're like, no, why is no one helping her? It's like the entire season long of like, guys, her wig is melting. The glue is melting. It's very clear. Someone do something about it. And then you find out that they were helping her and it's the producers that were not. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not great.
No, I mean like for reality TV, you don't want to see people at their best. You want to see people at their worst.
Yeah.
There it is. There
That's what
it
makes
is.
it
It,
content.
did get people talking.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see a well put together, rational, level headed individual on reality TV.
There it
No.
is.
I want to see a man who just like ripped a line of hot sauce, banged his head into the table, and is wearing 2 socks that ain't matched.
Yeah.
Like run a 500 like meter race.
That would be amazing.
New York is still my favorite reality person ever and will be my role model.
New
She
York.
is one of the worst people to
You
have ever
shut
been
your-
born.
you shut
she
your
is
whore mouth.
actually a blight upon the human race. Flava Flav deserves so much better.
New York from Flavor of Love season 2, and then her show I Love New York, and then on
She's
Big Brother.
horrible.
You
Imagine
shut your
the most
fucking mouth.
Horrible with the.
No, not even with a W.
Okay.
Nothing this woman does is a W.
Okay.
Nothing
No.
this woman does is a W.
No,
Okay.
Imagine the most like self-centered, entitled, delusional piece of shit person you've ever met.
Yeah.
But for some reason she's rich.
Is she hot?
No.
Yes.
We're getting conflicting. All right. You know what? I believe
So-
these guys.
No, I'm going to show you videos after.
Okay.
New York takes shit from no one. From fucking when Pumpkin tried to spit in New York's face, she immediately grabbed that bitch's hair and pulled her ass to the ground. Pumpkin tried to fucking run like a little bitch. And in the reunion show towards the end of the first season,
Yeah.
where everyone got back in the same room, everyone said they wanted to try to take a piece out of New York, but instead they threw fucking shoes at her. She dodged that shit masterfully and fucking went after them. They had to get that big ass security guard to hold her fucking back. I love New York.
The question was, is she hot? And the answer is no.
I think that she's
The council
very pretty.
agrees.
The heterosexual men in the room, no.
With terrible taste. No. Rez, what are you looking for?
I'm looking at her right now to decide whether I think she's
Is she
hot.
hot or not?
I think I will say no.
Yeah.
Not hot.
3 out of
That's
3.
racist.
She's not hot. She's like she's all right.
Oh my god. You guys didn't see her in her prime.
That's
I
fair.
watched Flava of Love.
And who was your girl of choice on Flavor of Love?
I don't even remember none of them.
Boots.
I watched it like 15 years ago.
Nah.
Boots.
It's
Okay.
Boots, yeah. She was cool.
Was Boots the bigger one?
Yeah.
I like Boots.
She thick.
Oh, I like that.
She thick.
You know what? I
It's
can.
good. But Hoops won, and I didn't care much for
Yeah,
Hoops.
We got Boots, Hoops, and New York.
It's flavor of
It's
love.
Flavor
Yeah, dude.
You know
These
what?
girls are competing for the affection of Flava Flav. He wears the clock the whole time.
Oh my god.
He looks like a cockroach.
Yeah, I think that's a Patreon goal.
He wears the clock. Like
He's a cockroach with a clock.
he's a cockroach.
Cockroach.
A witch cast a spell at a cockroach and it became flavor of love.
Oh my god.
Did anyone see that one post? I can't remember if it was Zendaya or some other like actress or actor wore like a watch as a choker. And people were like, oh my gosh, this is so innovative. Someone using a clock is like a neck piece.
Yeah.
And then Flavor Flav fucking comments on it. He's like, am I a fucking joke to you?
That is amazing. Get in there, Flavor.
This man's been doing this for decades now.
Patreon content for the future. I get both of these guys to watch Flavor of Love with me.
Oh my
all 2
God.
seasons.
Alcohol will be
so
involved.
good. Do we want to talk about NRG winning and upsetting Cloud9 at all? Because holy shit, all CLG had to do to win was just not be named CLG anymore.
That's all
Truly,
it took.
counter logic.
That's all it took.
Truly
That was some
counter-logic.
non-rational gaming.
There it is.
Or Nounter-logic gaming, whatever they call it.
Think about how great of an investment that was for NRG, though.
I know, right?
NRG comes in and they're like, okay, sure. We have Madison Square Garden money too, I guess, or something like that. We'll pick up CLG. We only want the League of Legends department. We don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Focus money just on that. Okay, cool. Go do League of Legends stuff. We'll give you a shit ton of coaches. They win Summer Split and go to Worlds.
Oh, EG blew up. I guess we'll take FBI. Oh, Ignar. Yeah, we'll pick up Ignar too as improvements. Oh, we just won the fucking league.
Dude, and it's so many guys that are actually like longtime NA guys. Dokla, longtime NA guy.
Yeah.
Palafox, longtime NA guy. Contracts, longtime NA guy. Their coaching staff, you've got like ThinkCard and
goats,
DeMonte
man.
and Apollo and all these guys that have
Don't
been
mash me.
in NA league for
Yeah.
so long. Fucking Soaz is on their coaching roster
Yeah.
too. For like, which still makes me do a double take because I always forget that. And
Yeah.
then sometimes I'll run into him in the hall and I'll just be like, wait a second. Is that just a guy that looks a lot like Soaz?
I saw him on the stream. I was sitting next to a Nero. I was like, who is that? He's like, that's Soaz. I'm like, that's what I fucking thought.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
It's actually him.
I see him a lot, and I comment on it because I think he went out with. They have like the whole soccer like thing that they have with the LCS guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
They play soccer sometimes. This guy injured himself, so like he had crutches for a little bit during the LCS split, and I didn't make fun of him, but I referenced it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. But yes, like they have the Apollo 13 of coaching staffs. They have literally just like 5 different coaches. The GM, Kami, who I adore. I love him. Used to work with him on Golden Guardians. And like they have Myra. They just have a shit ton of people behind the scenes. And specifically with Palafox and Dokla, we're talking to those players. Dokla, the day before the finals, when we had an interview with him, talked about when I was asking about his journey because he went from being an optic, then getting booted and having to work from amateur right back up. There were times he mentioned like, he for sure he thought he was going to quit at some point. He thought he was going to retire. Even Palafox made a post about how if he didn't make it to Worlds, he was going to retire. And then on a Travis interview that dropped, I think this morning, mentioned the fact, which I knew of before, but he now made it public, which was, and honestly, this is just, people should just know this from general knowledge, which is he was on the Cloud9 Academy team. He was on the Cloud9 Academy team, and they refused to like basically boost him into the LCS.
Yeah.
In fact, they got Perks instead. They made the choice to have Perks, who was like a $2 million deal, versus Palafox, who was on minimum, and he was doing quite well in Academy. And then they brought up M&S as well. So like the entire idea of, no, there are North American mid laners and North American talent in general, Dokla is a great example, who are good enough. You just have to give them a chance and kind of literally give them a chance and have time to support them, and they will get there. So who knows if that changes anything? Probably very little. I don't think at all.
Well, I think it's more so just the fact that they got here to begin with, because esports as a whole is currently in a bubble pop / recession mode where a lot of costs are being cut in a lot of places.
Yeah.
One of the biggest costs for a lot of esports orgs is these ridiculously inflated player salaries.
Yeah.
So if you can no longer get these imports from other regions that were good 6 years ago and pay them multiple millions of dollars to be good 6 years ago, like instead, what if we get a normal North American player coming up through the ranks who's a fraction of the cost? It's not through any sort of like, I don't actually believe that most of the time if you see more NA guys picked up, I don't believe it's going to be through benevolence. I don't believe it's going to be through learning the right lesson. Mm-hmm. It's going to be through cutting costs. But even if we have to walk down that road for the wrong reason, walking down that road is going to make the region better as a whole. Because if it happens enough, then people will start learning. Then they'll be like, oh, wait, no, we don't need to import these guys at all. This is a good starting point. But I don't think when you're looking at like the high ups of the like the CEOs and stuff of these orgs, I don't think they're learning a lesson from this happening one time.
Here's the thing, because I agree with you on the idea of it is much more convenient now because of cost cutting. Mm-hmm. But there's still a lot of GMs, and I'm not going to name names because like I still respect a lot of those players, and I don't want to.
Smith.
I'm talking about names of players.
I thought you said GMs.
Okay, let me get to my point, Ovilee May.
Nick and Aerosmith.
Fuck you, Nick. All right, fuck you. Which is like, there are players who are being picked up on this whole Moneyball idea. Why not pick up a PCS player or a Korean player who's like a lot cheaper, or who's coming up through the academy portal of their Korean scene, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone already knows, like, Quid was the example. And there's other examples too throughout the year. So like, they'll be like, okay, so we can't get that big name player that like, okay, actually they kind of did with Piosik, but like, we can't get like, oftentimes a big name player. We're not willing to get a big name player. A lot of times they're like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll just get a player that is on the up and up, or who's kind of in the PCS, or who's in LLA, but he's still Korean. Like, we are now get proven properly that no, they will still fail if you don't have a proper support team around them. Go for what's actually cheaper and what's working within your region. But who knows if that'll happen next year? I think it's much better case because you literally have a fucking champion.
I would love to see more of it. I would love to see more NA guys who've got the chops get the shot.
Yeah.
That's
completely agree. And no one expected it to happen, which is the crazy part.
Yeah. The fact that it's a sucker punch is the best thing.
Yeah.
Catches everybody off guard.
I think that energy winning as a whole too is also such like a fun story, just because Cloud9, I told this to Jack. I saw Cloud9 Jack at FanFest beforehand.
Yeah.
I went, Jack, I'm tired of seeing Cloud9 win. Let someone else do it.
A lot of fans were. A lot of the pregame threads and stuff were full of just like, oh, I'm so fucking sick of seeing C9 win. I wish somebody would upset them. And those fans got their wish. And also, it lights a fire under Cloud9's ass to like, hey, don't get complacent.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, it was kind of the same thing for Team Liquid when they had like the 4 wins in a row. And it's like, oh, who's going to take them down? Was it Cloud9 at the end of it? I forgot who actually beat Team Liquid.
Because Team Liquid was winning. Yeah, Team Liquid won 2018, 2018, 2019, 2019. And then spring 2020 was Cloud9 winning. Because that was the one that I had the skull infection and I couldn't cast. I remember that. It
was Cloud9 versus FlyQuest, and then FlyQuest versus TSM. So yeah, Cloud9 did it. Because they can't do summer. I remember the collapse in summer. That was hilarious.
Yeah. So it's like, great. NRG winning, new team, American team, or, homegrown team. And it feels good for all the players, seeing everyone go through and everything. The one thing, I don't know if you guys saw these Reddit posts. What was it? I don't know if you guys saw these Reddit posts, but I also don't know the validity of it.
Okay.
From what you've heard, the Reddit post that I saw was like 40% decline in viewership for Summer Split from the year prior for Summer Split. It didn't feel like that, though. Mm-hmm. I feel like I still saw things on Twitter. I feel like we had the best opening ceremony for a League of Legends region or NA regional whatever opening ceremony in years. I fucking loved it. Thutmose coming out, doing the new song, and then a little bit of True Damage. I was apparently the only one who knew any of the words because I was singing along.
There it is.
So I was like, it didn't feel that way. Did you two notice anything?
Well, I remember going into that day seeing like just the viewership in general from other leagues, so specifically LEC because they were going through their finals, or not finals, but their season finals, which is an entire different bracket, like their own playoff
LEC
format.
schedule's weird.
Yeah, but they didn't have that great of a viewership. We didn't have that great of a viewership. Obviously, our viewership is finals. When I say great of a viewership, just like comparing it to years prior.
Yeah.
So I really don't have an opinion other than we've seen this throughout the entire split. So I think we just need to be able to pick up. We just need to be able to pick it up again with like being able to get those existing casual fans. And another thing is like a lot of new names. This reminded me of LPL all over again because in LPL, like their biggest fear from our producers was like fear in the sense of like, oh, not that we don't want these teams to get in the finals, but if EDG and RNG is not in the finals, and if you're having like new players, fresh faces, in that case, at that time, that was like Knight's first finals from Top Esports. Now I moved to JDG. Like if you have that first finals from a player, you have to do so much building on like ground building on getting their faces out there, Where Worlds last year, Palafox, people didn't even fucking recognize him.
Yeah.
That is going to be really difficult in being able to people like connect to that person. So it's going to take time, which sucks. So.
Worlds, I mean, I feel like Worlds is the same thing where people are like, okay, we really need to see a Chinese or a Korean team in World Finals. Otherwise, we're going to see the viewership show. Because sure, having a team like NRG or Cloud9 or Liquid in World Finals would be fucking fantastic for NA. But I don't feel like the NA fans would turn up like the Asian fans would. I still feel like they'd kill it. But
we just don't have the big brands right now. We need
don't.
to try and build brand names and players if they can stream consistently. But that's all. That's another conversation entirely.
But something that I found that, did you have anything that you wanted to say there? Or
I don't focus on viewership at all during finals weekends. I just literally turn into a fucking lizard robot.
And shaving your balls.
I shave my balls till that shit shines, and I focus on my casts.
Fantastic. One thing that I found, because I was filming content on Saturday, so that was the semifinal match for FanFest. I went around and I was talking to people, and there are actually quite a few new League of Legends fans. Like new
awesome.
League of Legends fans within a year old or a couple months old. Because I was asking, I'm like, what do you think of the state of League of Legends? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I heard a lot of people say, oh, you know, my friends got me into it. They've been watching for years. And then I was pressured into it. I was like, great, bully people into liking the LCS. That's what we should do.
Yep.
There were, I met a girl who was cosplaying as Ahri. She's like, I didn't even know about this game 6 months ago, but now I'm dressed up as Ahri and attending like the finals.
Yeah.
So there's still newer fan acquisition.
I met a few same people.
Right?
Yeah. Mostly just friends again, pulling them and starting to get them to learn more and more. So it's nice to be able to see it. I think big events do that.
I mean, think back to how this game started. Think back to when Riot Games legitimately was a small indie company making one game that was 20 characters who all had pizza feet.
That's
right?
true.
Like this game was
you want
not
a pizza?
What?
Because you want a pizza, them feet?
This game was not heavily promoted, advertised, anything. The way League of Legends became popular wasn't through a bunch of online, like, viral marketing campaigns.
Yeah.
It was through dudes liked it and told other dudes that they knew, let's play this.
Yes.
And so I think that sort of grassroots type of friends loving it enough to tell their friends, yo, come check this out, it's sick, is always going to be a huge factor. I'm still not going to acknowledge. If you say it again, I'm not going to acknowledge. I'm just going to turn and talk to Raz.
You want a pizza, them
Yo,
feet?
so yeah, exactly. You've got to make sure that you're keeping that grassroots shit alive. That's just so important.
That's why, like, actually having finals. I know in LEC they're having the Montpellier finals now, but not basically having finals in venue, in their studio for the spring, winter, and summer. You just need to have that big finals weekend, because that's how you get people talking.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's just so fun.
They still filled out like the entire Prudential Center.
It was amazing.
There were many butts in seats. Like there was a lot of people. The Fan Fest, I feel like was one of the more engaging fan fests that I've been to. Like a lot of teams showed up.
Yeah.
Shout out to FlyQuest. There was a line for, I think, who was it? Spica, Vulcan, Prince, and Vikla. They were all doing like fan meets and everything. And each day that they showed up, there were like 2-3 hour lines. Like from the start of Fan Fest to the end of Fan Fest. So I was like,
awesome.
Holy crap, people care. People like this. One small thing for me was like there were a lot more people wearing FlyQuest jerseys, where before it felt like that was like unheard of. Yeah. Thinking of like the little yellow FlyQuest old emblem. Like there are so many new fans now that I'm getting excited for. Yeah. I'm gonna tangent though and tell you something that wasn't fucking exciting for me.
Ooh, I'm ready for this.
What's up?
Fuck Alaska Airlines. And when I say fuck Alaska Airlines, I mean fuck them so hard. This is the first time that I have ever flown with Alaska Airlines. I usually use Southwest or United or literally whatever. But this is the airline that I was assigned to via, I guess, like Riot Travel or something. Riot is usually really on top of their stuff. This isn't their problems. It's a fucking Alaska Airlines problem. The first flight that I had, which was to Newark from LAX, the flight was delayed by 2 hours. That's usually there's like, 15-minute delay, 30-minute delay, even a 45-minute delay. I'm like, okay, I get it. There's probably weather. I know there's like a lot of staff shortages or something like that, right? Wrong. What happened for this fucking flight was that the plane came in. They're like, we thought that we had to do maintenance on this plane, but actually we didn't. So we're going to take this plane. We're going to move you guys to a different gate that's like halfway across the terminal and go over there in 2 hours. So luckily I sat my ass down. I was like, I'm not going to do shit. 2 hours later, they move everyone back to the same gate to get on the same plane that was deemed, we don't know if this plane is okay. It was okay the whole time. And the pilot on the plane sounded pissed where he's like, yeah, I don't know what happened, but thanks for bearing with us for the 2 hour delay.
Okay.
Fine, whatever. It's a freak incident. It's a freak event, right?
Yeah.
It's like, whenever you fly, you're bound to get one or two of these.
Yeah.
On the way back to LAX, I am on a 7:30 a.m. flight, which means that I had to get up at like 5 a.m. to get to the airport to check all my bags, which had expensive camera equipment in them.
Yeah.
This is important to the story. Bags had expensive camera equipment in them, stuff that we used for Caster's Couch Live, stuff
production.
that, you have to keep on you. Ian had a bag full of just cameras that he himself was carrying around because that stuff was like too important to even get checked. We go through the checked thing. We have TSA pre-check, but still there's like a woman in security who's like harping on Ian for having a bag full of cameras and electronics where she's like, you have to take every single individual thing out, which usually is fine. But again, we have TSA pre-check. I still sent through all of my stuff with like electronics in it because I was like, I don't know what you want me to do, lady. Everything went through. I don't know if they were just singling out Ian because he's handsome.
Yeah, that's why they would. Yeah.
He's tall.
He's very tall.
Yeah.
Tall and handsome.
Tall, handsome, built, nothing else.
Comment below if you think Ian is tall and handsome.
Yeah.
So we get there.
And black.
What?
Could it be?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
So get to the plane.
Yeah.
Boarding is delayed by 15 minutes. Fine, whatever. Remember, there's supposedly a hurricane that's going on in California.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Check all the weather apps. It says, okay, no, California's fine and everything right now. Great. We get on the plane. We're only 15 minutes delayed. We're on the plane. And all of a sudden, we get a pilot notice come in going like, hey, everyone, we are 30 minutes delayed. Just going to check in on some sort of issue that our mechanics are having.
No. First, they said we were waiting for two people.
Oh, yes. We were waiting for people from another flight. Excuse me. That was the first notice of the delay.
We're waiting for two people.
Yeah.
Waited for two people from another flight. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. Connecting flight. I get that. Give them another 15 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
I hear that pain. I hear that pain.
It was a lie.
It was a lie.
It was a lie?
The next notice that we get, the pilot comes on and says, hey, everyone. So we're currently experiencing a mechanical issue where it seems that while we were loading and fueling up the plane, we broke the fuel line. So the fuel line is damaged, and we need to wait and see if this plane is going to be cleared for takeoff. At that point, I know that we are fucked.
Yeah, you guys are boned, man.
They couldn't fuel the fucking plane right. In my head, the only thing that I've got going on through my head is that they were in the plane and they're like, okay, everything's good. And the pilot's like, all right, let's start moving. And they start moving. And just like the gas filler up in the fucking car, they tried to drive away with it. That's the only thing that I could think of. I start peeking out my window. This poor woman who's in like the actual window seat, she lifted up the cover. That was a mistake for her. I start looking out, and with my camera, I can zoom in, and there's like 4 airport security trucks, kind of like all in a semicircle around the airplane's wings. There were like 3 dudes in suits out there now with like some of the security guys. One of the guys is going like
hazmat
this.
suits or business suits?
Business suits.
Okay.
Business suits. Like, okay, we got the exec security down
I didn't
here.
know what kind of suit
That's fine. No, I would
That's
tell
fair.
you if it's hazmats. Might as fucking well have been. There's one dude who's going like this, who's probably the one who fucked up.
Probably the one that
Yeah,
fucked it.
that's the guy who's
That
like, I
guy.
don't got a job no
I
more.
lost my
Fucked up.
fucking job, man.
So bad. And then we get a thing over the intercom again, maybe like 15, 20 minutes later, where they're like, okay, at this point, we are now allowing you to disembark from the plane if you'd like. But just know that the plane may leave without you if you get off this plane. So
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
What does
And
that
they're
even mean?
The plane may leave
plane
without
may
you.
leave
They
without
were like,
you.
you can voluntarily get off now, but we may leave without you.
So they also say if you would like to make other arrangements or other bookings and get off this plane, you could do that now. So I look over at Ian because I have Ian with me, and I'm like, we should get off this fucking
And Perry.
plane.
Producer Perry was
Oh,
with us
producer
as well.
Perry was also
Yep.
on the plane. He paid for an upgrade though. What a
Bastard.
loser.
He
Oh
ditched you
my
guys.
God, he paid for an upgrade?
He gets his just desserts. So I call over the flight attendant because I'm looking at Ian. I'm like, I want to get off this fucking plane. Flight attendant comes over and I said, hi, we would like to get off the plane. What is the situation to get our checked bags? And she's like, I don't know. I'll be right back. She leaves. She comes back and she's like, the bags will stay on the plane. And I'm like, so I'm so sorry. So you're saying that people can get off the plane, but we can't get our bags? Yes. And then leaves. And I'm like, listen, I understand that it's a logistical nightmare to like go through and try to pick out 1 or 2 people's bags. I get that. I understand it. But at this point, we all fucking know that this plane is not taking off.
Yeah.
So lo and behold, another 15, 20 minutes later, another plane intercom thing comes over and they're like, I've got some bad news, folks. And everyone on the plane just goes, fuck!
Yep.
They're like, this plane is not going to be cleared for takeoff and you will all be rebooked and blah, blah, blah. And as they start going through, I whip out the phone. I start going through like all of the flights. The next flight that was feasible was like at noon.
Yeah.
And this is already, we're at like 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. We've been on this for a fucking long time. I'm like going through, I'm booking flights. There's Lily Pichu and Michael Reeves that's right in front of us. There's Medios on the plane. There's Hanser is on the plane too. We had producer Perry on the plane as well.
We got a whole party here in Alaskan
Everyone
Air.
got fucked. So I'm now sitting in the tunnel trying to book the flight. Producer Ian is like standing there with his like traveler number ready, like let's book these tickets. Producer Perry's like walking around in a circle trying to talk with Alaska Airlines because apparently what happened was Alaska Airlines, the butthole of the sky, was rebooking people. Originally, this was a 7 a.m. flight to LAX.
Yeah.
They were rebooking people to a 7 p.m. or an 8 p.m. flight to San Francisco.
What?
To San Francisco, where they would have to wait 4 or 5 hours for this layover to take them to LAX the next morning. Alaska Airlines, the butthole of the sky.
Well, that's ass.
Literally shit. I get lucky. I'm able to book us both on a noon flight to United. I saw Medios made that jump too. I think Lily Pichu and Michael Reeves got a little fucked because they were both booked on like different flights.
Yeah.
Hanser ended up getting one of the other United flights that was available with the layover. Producer Perry got fucked and like had to just leave at 7 p.m.
Yeah, I was talking to producer
Damn.
Barry and LAX
Oh.
guys, and I had a 5 p.m. flight. And then I
He was
found
still there.
I had a 5 p.m. flight, and while I was getting my bags checked at like what? It was like 9 p.m. when I was in LAX. I saw Perry. Oh my
Damn.
God, was
Yeah.
he was not happy.
So he got to the airport around the same time as us.
Yeah.
We were boarding at what, 6:50?
6:50.
6:50?
Yeah.
So he had been there for 12 hours.
Not a great time.
Holy shit!
I think
Great
we
time.
had a 14-hour travel day, so it was probably definitely longer
was
for
less than
producer
ideal.
Perry.
Yeah.
So fuck you, Alaska Airlines, and your fucking incompetence. Again,
Unless you would like to sponsor the podcast, in which case, thank you for your money.
There it is.
yes, give us money. Give us time, money for my pain and suffering.
And we'll
We
redact
can
our statement.
have look, Alaska Airlines, if you want to sponsor the podcast, we will have a segment during every podcast. It's going to start off at a plane crash noise, and we're going to call it like the dog shit talk of the day. And it'll be the worst possible topic. Patreon viewers can decide what we're going to discuss.
True.
And then it'll just be the worst possible shit. And we're only allowed to make it worse as it goes.
Under the video, it'd be like a huge blob where it's like talking about the topic, and it'd be like, "Welcome to Alaska" every time.
Yeah.
It's
Welcome to
fun.
Alaska Air.
That's why no one goes to Alaska, because of Alaska Airlines.
I think it's because of the snow.
Alaska is the Australia of America. It's drunks and convicts.
Yeah.
And polar bears.
Yeah,
well, no,
and bears.
not polar. It's
They have brown bears.
Yeah.
And
I
black
don't think
bears.
it's polar bears. I think it's normal bears.
and shitty
They
airlines.
have grizzly bears up there.
Shitty.
They got a
fucking
lot of
airlines.
bears.
And scary proximity to Russia.
Oh, that was the Sarah Palin bit. I could see
We
Russia
have
from my
more
house.
missiles than they do.
from here. Yeah, that's true.
Jesus.
There's like 2 islands. One is tied to Alaska. That is an American island. Mm-hmm. That's also like what has like 102 people that's there. And then it's like right next to a Russian island, which has no people. and has only Russian soldiers. So, hey, look, you're next to Canada, but unless you're willing to like give us Alaska, we're not helping you.
That's fair.
Fuck Alaska Airlines.
Nah, there it is.
I just fuck them so much. I would understand if it was a weather delay. Which, by the way, when you guys landed, you landed in the evening. It sounded like because you had later flights.
I landed in the morning. No, I don't take late flights.
What
Fuck
flight
that.
did you take?
My flight was at 10 a.m.
Okay, so
I should have taken a morning flight.
Yeah.
When I initially got booked, there was an evening flight, and I was just like, I'm too lazy to rebook.
Yeah.
When I fly out, I arrive as late as possible. I leave as early as possible.
So when you landed, did it look like there was any even like leftovers of a fucking hurricane?
It was bright
California?
and sunny.
Bright and sunny. I came home to my house.
Yeah.
As I'm walking up to the doorway, I'm like, okay, a couple flowers off my tree fell off.
The biggest thing that impacted me was I went and I got the mail today before I came over here. And so, it's like a week's worth of mail.
Yeah.
And it was soggy.
A
But
disaster.
it was all junk mail anyway.
I was kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie, because Rafa, our mutual friend, and Caster, he showed me a picture of Dodger Stadium and how flooded it was. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm fucked. And I felt I was fucked because there was a solid 50-50 chance that I had left my window open.
I heard that you did.
Oh.
I heard that you left your window open.
So I got off the flight, got to my apartment. That son of a bitch was wide open. Thankfully. And the thing is, my window is situated right next to my PC. Right next to my monitor, right next to my tower, like my PC tower. I was like, Jesus, is it fucked? Is it cooked? Because the window itself was like dirty as shit because there was like a lot of rainwater put on it. Yeah, and so, but thankfully, the PC was saved.
Nice.
And I was not flooded.
We love that.
So it was everything was good. And I got a weather report from my Uber driver as I was going from the airport, or at least that airport to my actual apartment. And she was like just saying it was completely fine. I mean, there was an earthquake along with it, but it was a pretty low magnitude earthquake. But she was a bit of a conspiracy theorist. She was an extreme conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
Oh my god.
All right, what kind of conspiracies
Yeah,
does she
yeah.
have?
Lay it on
Did
me.
she have a tinfoil helmet?
Oh my god, she might as well have. Like, she basically was talking about how she called the fact that there was going to be an earthquake. She's like, by the way, she just was not making sense in the way she was speaking. So I thought at first she was a drunk driver, and I was really concerned. I was like, okay, this is how I die.
Oh, so you met Flowers' mom and my mom.
There it is. So look, I know you're a part of the family. So
First, I
both
thought
of
you
your
were
mothers.
about to attack my mom for some reason. I was going to be like, man, that's pretty rude of you.
Cold-blooded.
Yeah, for
No.
no reason. You're not going to
No.
get those texts again.
No, she probably is.
Yes. So like, God. She said that she had called the fact that there was going to be an earthquake, and she called it because she was like, when I heard that I guess the hurricane was coming, it's like, I saw the trees. I saw the trees that had the speakers, the alarm speakers. I was like, what the fuck is she talking about?
The trees have speakers in them.
Yeah, she's like, they must also, because they were working hard at them. That must mean that there's going to be something bigger happening, like an earthquake. And so she said, that was like, and my child told me, yeah, you called the earthquake happening. And she's like, and you know what? I saw more work being done and everything, which might mean something bigger happening. But I already spoke the earthquake into existence, so I'm going to stop speaking about it. I was like, what am I fucking listening to? She's like saying something bigger is going to happen, but she has to stop talking about it so it doesn't actually happen. But she kept fucking talking about it.
Dude, you met the Uber soothsayer, the oothsayer.
Oh,
You
God.
met the mystical oothsayer,
Yes.
and you didn't even know it.
Oh my God. She just didn't stop.
She should have used her powers for good. She could have
She
wished something
should've.
good to happen.
Why
Yes.
couldn't she have wished that Alaska Airlines knew how to fly the
Right?
plane?
Oh,
Damn it.
That would have helped. That would have helped, I think. That would have done wonders.
Could have used it.
dear Lord.
I'll let her know that you exist at some point so she can send some good news.
Some good
Yeah.
flight patterns for
Exactly.
me.
Yeah, yeah,
Please and thank you. Shit. That was a lot, friends. We certainly did accomplish a lot within the past week. Good job.
Woo!
Good job. Good job. You're too far.
Congratulations on
Here.
a slog of a split, guys.
What the fuck?
There,
That was going to be my connection to you.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
There
That's
was
fair.
connection. It was connection.
I was freaking my producers out too because I was like having random fall damage noise because even though I'm out of the sling, sometimes you try and put too much force in, you go like ah,
Oh.
and he was like, Raz,
Are you gonna make it?
he was freaking out like. Raz. I was like, it's okay, don't worry. It's just like 10, 30 seconds of me saying, don't worry, I'm fine, it happens, blah, 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 and they're just looking at me. Are you sure?
Are you Daijoubu? But anyways, thank you again, everyone who came out to the Caster's Couch live event and for continuously supporting this podcast. Are you going to be streaming? Either you streaming?
I'll be streaming, all right.
Streaming?
I'm going to be streaming Street Fighter 6 whenever I can, and maybe some VOD reviews because
Okay.
there's a lot happening.
Go tune in to Raz's stream.
Raz-
Twitch.tv/RazLol. RAZLOL. The #1 place for your late night Street Fighter degeneracy, feet memes, booba, and everything in
You
between.
better believe that's happening.
Twitch.tv/RazLol.
You better believe that's happening. The
And
last
you're-
time I did that when I was on Gummies, that was the funnest stream of
Dude,
all.
Gummy midnight stream with Raz playing Street Fighter, talking shit to random idiots on the internet and public matchmaking is the greatest.
There it
you guys
is.
are seriously missing out. Make sure
There
you
it
tune
is.
in.
Are you hibernating?
Yes.
Hibernating. All right. Raz stream. I'll play more Baldur's Gate and we will see you all next time. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks
Bye.
for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. What do you think Flowers' feet smell like?
Ding that bell. What the hell?
Like flowers.